Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Hardest Part is Getting Started podcast with Britt and Ange. You can find us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, and Rumble. Today's episode is New Year, Stronger You. We're talking about all plans, goals, and things that are 2024. And with me, as always, is Ange.
Hello.
You want to take over? You're more than
All
welcome
right.
to.
Yeah. So hard to believe that 2023 is coming to an end. And as it does, we always start to look back on all the things that we worked on and accomplished for 23, but we also start to look forward to what do we want to accomplish for 24. So we wanted to talk about a new year, stronger you. And we always say new year, new you, but we thought, you know what, let's talk about being a stronger you instead of a new you, because who you are is just fine. Maybe you just want to be a little bit stronger this year. So plans, goals, what do you have coming up? What are you thinking about as it comes into 2024? And kind of as you start to let go of 2023. So one of the things that Britt and I were talking about is the difference between resolutions and having a plan or having a goal, right? So a resolution, we all set them. We're all like, okay, I'm going to do this, and this. So we make this big list of resolutions. And how many times do we actually stick to those resolutions? And it kind of leaves us starting a new year, maybe on more of a negative foot than what we would want it to be. We want to start on that new year coming from something positive that's going to make us feel empowered and stronger as we go into the new year, but not make us feel like I'm not going to be able to accomplish this long list of things I have set for myself. So instead of doing resolutions, let's think more about plans and goals. So you set, some goals for yourself. You can set fitness goals, you can set business goals, you can set financial goals, family goals, personal goals, whatever it is that you want to achieve. Think about setting goals as opposed to resolutions. And that is something that is going to be more of a long-term plan than just setting some resolutions like, I'm going to drink more water. Okay, drinking more water is great. But what does that even mean? So thinking about, can you make that more like quantifiable? I'm going to make sure that I drink half my body weight in water in ounces every day or 5 days a week or whatever metrics you want to put so you can really measure how well you're doing with that. And say you want to get stronger. You want to have more muscles. Okay, that's great. We all want to have more muscles. But again, what does that look like? What does your plan look like? What are those goals? How are you going to measure those specific metrics instead of just saying, I want to lift more weights? Okay, it's awesome. We want you to lift more weights, but how can you make that a goal? Okay, so what is your goal going to be? I want to be able to increase the amount of weight that I can lift in 12 weeks. All right, cool. And then how are you going to do that? Well, I'm going to lift 5 days a week. Sweet. Okay, let's break that down even more. What days are you going to lift those specific muscle groups? What am I going to do if I miss a day? So really just kind of going like deep diving as opposed to a resolution being, I'm going to lift more weights. Your goal is going to be, I want to get stronger. And then here's going to be your plan of how you do that. So really setting yourself up for success. And, if you say you want to lift 5 days a week, well, we know there's 7 days in a week. You miss a day, something comes up, you get sick, that you can shift things around. So it's not so static and saying, you have to hit these metrics. You're going to give yourself a little bit of grace in case life happens, because it does. And then the other thing we wanted to kind of bring up, I think, is something that's important that kind of goes hand in hand with having a plan, having a goal, is finding an accountability buddy. Like Britt and I have each other. We talk to each other all the time about what are some things that we want to work on, even on a day-to-day basis, right? I'm like, hey, today I'm going to do this. And then I don't. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I didn't get that in, but I'll do it tomorrow. So she holds me accountable and vice versa. She's like, Britt will be like, I'm not feeling the best today. And I'm like, you know what? Listen to your body, take a rest day. So we're not pushing each other like, oh, you're so lazy, get that workout in. We're there for each other. And then, but we gently say, okay, it's been a couple days. Are you going to get back into it? We just kind of keep each other accountable in that way. And then we are both coaches. So we know the value of having a coach. If you are brand new to lifting or to anything, exercise, nutrition, mindset, if there's some things that you're working on and you're brand new to it, feel free to reach out to a coach. Myself and Britt, we would love to talk to you, or find yourself somebody who you can relate to and find someone who's going to hold you accountable. So it can be a buddy, it can be a coach, it could be a group on Facebook. Just find somebody. The other thing that we are doing is we're kind of creating for ourselves a quote unquote challenge. We don't really have any specific metrics when it comes to this challenge. I've told Britt what my goals are. She's told me some of her goals, and we're just keeping each other accountable. And we decided our motto is going to be, don't do anything half-ass, use your whole ass. So that's going to be our 2024 motto. Use that whole ass.
We're using our full ass this year.
Yes, absolutely. So the last thing I wanted to just ask and throw out there is, have you guys seen the outs and ins? So that's kind of become the new thing on social that I've seen is what's out for 2024, what's in for 2024, and what are your thoughts on that? So just, can we do that? Can we do some ins and outs? And is that a good way to position ourselves into 2024? Or is that coming from like a negative point when you're saying out, right? Or do you want to just maybe say ins and not say that these are things that you're going to leave out? And again, setting yourself up for, starting out on a negative foot as opposed to a positive foot. So maybe we'll say, what are going to be our ins for 2024? So Britt, what do you want to talk about?
Yeah. So like for one, like the things you're mentioning, trying to make that plan and establishing your SMART goals and such, your mindset journal that you have would be very helpful for someone that's just starting out. For one, that'd be a very, very beneficial tool. Also too, I'm sure, unless you've been under a rock or something, there's been oodles of challenges and promos out there for gyms, online fitness groups, all that stuff. So it's all out there. Some of it, yes, can be incredibly intimidating and such, especially if you're brand new to the whole thing. My biggest thing is don't compare yourself to like a 12-year vet that's been doing this for 12 years. And then there you are just basically learning the actual proper form and dynamics to a bicep curl. Like,
right.
put yourself where you need to be. But I will say that don't put yourself down, because when you start instilling, which I am guilty once in a while of doing this, and Ange is awesome because she does pull my head out of my ass basically and kind of have me see reality once again, because it's just the pressure I put on myself sometimes, like we all do, can be high, and our expectations for ourselves are higher than sometimes we are able to be. But like Ange said earlier, if it's just having that grace, have that grace, be gentle with yourself, show yourself some love, and are you doing your best? Because really at the end of the day, as long as you did your best, that is all that matters with every single day that goes by, for either finishing off 2023 or going into and proceeding through 2024. Like, just do your best. Some of us are given ample opportunities and we know how to adapt, or sometimes they know how to adapt in those opportunities and come out flawlessly, where some of us are just grateful that we are able to get all our bills paid this month. And you know what? I might not have been able to do X, Y, and Z, but hey, my bills got paid. Like, and you know what? You did your best there. Sure, you weren't able to do those other things you wanted to do, but that's a huge chunk that you were able to do. And that should not be unrecognized. I feel like those are like the whole like non-scale victories, I guess we'll say, right? Like those are other types of wins. And I'm all about celebrating all the types of wins because yeah, there's been times with my own injuries and other things, I wasn't able to do exactly everything as planned, but oh man, you bet I was thrilled and I shouted from the rooftops when I did something that
Yeah.
actually went really well and I did my best and I pushed through. So I really encourage and motivate you to have that mindset and discipline going in that I am just going to do my best. My situation is not the same as this other person's situation.
Right.
I'm just going to focus on my own sidewalk, my own lawn, keep that well taken care of, or to the best of my ability. Some days, yeah, that grass might not get cut, or some days that garbage might still be on that curb. But just do your best to do you and be your authentic you and not try to cookie cut yourself into something else because we all know sure that might work for a couple of weeks but then it starts to fade and crack away.
Yeah.
And yeah, just really show up for yourself. And it kind of goes into what our next episode will be about, but we'll discuss that later. But that's essentially what I wanted to say is give yourself that grace, show yourself that love, check in with yourself. That really checking in on myself was the one thing that got me through 2023, besides having Ange and so many amazing, beautiful friends that I had to just, in a sense, not say keep tabs on me, but make sure that I was actually being my best and being me and doing all that is me.
Well, and
Thing.
reminding you to give yourself grace too. And you remind me all the time, to give myself grace. So sometimes
Yeah,
just hearing it from a friend, like, hey, listen, you're doing your best. Maybe your body just needs a break today. Maybe your brain just needs,
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
sometimes you can
exactly.
hear that.
Yeah, and just having that extra person like knows, not saying what you're going through, but has an idea of your story, sees that it's not coming from an excuse standpoint because so many times we get penalized for the whole like, oh, like excuses don't make gains, or
Right, right.
which is true. It's true. However, there's always, I'm not saying an exception, but if you're doing your absolute best,
Yes.
it's not anymore an excuse. You're just showing yourself love in another way, and
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
so important.
Right. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me in 2023, kind of looking back, is learning to have a little bit more balance in life and giving myself some grace when things come up that are outside of my control. If I couldn't get my workout in, instead of beating myself up about it, just being like, okay, I'm going to make sure that my nutrition is a little bit more on point today and doing something that way. Can I get outside for a quick 10-minute walk instead of, being able to get down to the gym to do my workout? So figuring out ways that I can still get some sort of movement in, even if it isn't exactly what I wanted, just finding that balance instead of like beating myself up. And because there is that culture out there that's like, do more, be more, hit it, do the grind. And you
Yeah,
hear all that and you're like, well, I'm not really grinding right now. But like you said, you have to celebrate those wins. You're like, okay, I think being able to look and do some self-reflection and say, I am doing the best that I can. Maybe I didn't push quite as hard today as I wanted to. Like the other day, Brittany and I were chatting and I said, I was planning on doing legs and she was going to do legs and we were going to do legs. And then I didn't do legs. I didn't have it in me. I was doing some other stuff around the house. And before I knew it, it was late in the day. And I was like, there's no way at 7:00 at night, I'm going to be able to give my best to this leg workout. So I just said, you know what? I'm going to plan on doing it tomorrow. And I did it on Friday and I had an amazing leg day, AKA I can't walk today. So instead of beating myself up for not doing that workout on Thursday, and Britt did get her legs in and she crushed it, and that inspired me. I'm like, all right, I'm going to go in on Thursday or Friday and get that workout in. So finding that balance, I think, is important. Being disciplined is important, but kind of combining those two things and being able to give yourself grace if it isn't all coming together exactly as you want, because nothing is ever perfect,
exactly.
right?
Well, even like I think this week was just a week for us to make good examples because well, that one day that was another leg day where I was like 20 pounds lighter than my normal heavy lifts, and like I had to reduce everything roughly 5 pounds. It still kicked my butt at the end of the day. And sure,
Right.
like I was kind of mad and in that mindset of like, well, I'm doing less and this is kicking my butt. But at the same time, I still got it done. And yeah, I had great DOMs, even though I stretched and did all the proper post-workout stuff.
Yeah.
I still kicked butt. So
Exactly. And
I did
that's,
my best for
you
that
did your
day.
best.
Yeah.
Yes. And maybe
Yeah.
that's a good motto. Doing what is it? Like doing your best with your whole ass.
Yeah, yeah. There we go. I love it. That is it now. Get that on a
um,
t-shirt.
yeah, I think it should be. Let's make
Yeah.
t-shirts. Yes,
Yeah.
I
Get
agree.
Allie on it.
Yeah, let's do it. So yeah, I just thank you guys so much for being here with us today. We really appreciate you tuning in, and we have some really awesome episodes planned for you coming up. Make sure that you like and subscribe, follow us on Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening to us. YouTube, you can subscribe so you get notifications when we are posting new episodes. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, all the fun places. Be sure to reach out if you would like to join us for that challenge. Britt and I are, challenge. We'd love to have you, or even kind of talking about maybe throwing together a Facebook group for podcast listeners or anybody who would be interested in some extra fun accountability.
Yeah. So basically like that challenge, and I use air quotes here, is like a bring your own challenge. So if you found something for free on YouTube, we don't care. We're just all motivating each other to just do our best and use our whole ass to get through this year. So bring in what you want. Just
Just
like
bring your
go by
whole
vibes.
ass.
But with that being said, episode 5 is the comparison is a thief of joy, which works perfectly with what we just talked about. So
Yeah.
stay tuned and we'll send updates for when that's going to be released. And getting started is the hardest part, but we're here to help. And I'm just sending all the love, and so is Ange, and have the most amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.